Hello everybody and welcome to Legend of Grimrock 2 single character playthrough. My name is Highwang. With me is a character, William Scabs. He is our protagonist of the story, and today we are sequence breaking the game. Now this kind of interests me a lot because typically in RPGs you don't see this kind of thing. Like whenever you play both a Western and a Japanese RPGs, progress is usually gated. You go to town, you go to dungeon, you go to town, you go to dungeon, and they incrementally drip gear to you along the way. Also, here's a neat little cutscene. It's the master of the island, I think. I mean, look at this resplendent fellow. He's riding a dragon. Also, this cutscene marks a kind of problem. Now enemies spawn in this area. But as I was saying, traditionally, progress in RPGs is gated with no real way to, you know, game the system, break sequence, get what you're not supposed to have ahead of time. I think the only RPG that ever did this, well, traditional RPG, is Final Fantasy I, and that was the peninsula of grinding. But today you're going to be seeing an interesting change in design for Grimrock. Now for a bit of backstory while we fight this mini Drake, in Grimrock 1 progress was heavily gated. You were stuck in a tower and you had to go down 12 floors of increasingly hard puzzles to beat the game. Now in Grimrock 2, when you first play the game initially, it still feels the same way, even though we're on an open island. Now also kind of a bit of side content, this is a thing I never saw before. I just said, hey, what the hell's here? Oh, it's the treasure chest. I have something to show off because I've never seen this treasure chest. I'll let you all know the treasure chest sucks. Anyways, in Grimrock 2, it does feel initially like you're supposed to be gated into progress. Because when you do the initial island and Twin Groot Forest, you're led to believe you go along a straight path and just do stuff along the way. However, the more I play this game, the more I realize this game is really open-ended, and you could do a lot of stuff to just straight up cheat. Like, the Backbiter was a early, you know, mark of that, because what I believe the developers intended is you were supposed to fight the Viper roots and then see the chest and then figure out, wait, where's a key? I don't know where a key is. However, because I knew about that ahead of time, I could get this knife that just trivialized that fight. But in this instance, you're gonna see how wickedly crazy you could just fuck around with how open this area is. Also, that was the Shrine of Pain. It's just a puzzle of memorizing where spikes go. Big whoop. But yeah, the more I think about it, the more I realize you could do a lot of stuff in this game to just flat up cheat. Also, I'm opening up that secret because there's a treasure in that chest that we could actually kind of use. It's not really dexterity based, but it's a direct upgrade if we ignore something. Also, this shortcut here, blocked by a Twin Root, or a Viper Root. It has the exact same amount of health as the boss. Well, half it, considering the boss had 2. But it's also in a tiny-ass corridor, which makes it really hard to fight. However, there's a 2x2 grid here. And if you just, you know, stay in this grid, specifically this tile I'm on, Twin Root has nothing on you. It's dead. With no fault to me. And I've opened up a shortcut to another area. So I've skipped 1, 2, and I'm about to skip 3 zones of content. However, for the sequence break I'm doing right now for gear, this is probably the hardest part of it. Also, it's kind of strange. We saw the Island Master fly off into the sunset on a Drake like a royal fellow, and now he just kind of teleports away after giving us a map? So, the Island Master here gives you a map. It's worthless. It's just it's basically concept art flavor for the island. But here's a fun sequence break. What you're supposed to do is do this puzzle, open up the sequence, get some treasures, get a good time. Fuck it. We're swimming. Now, I'm pretty sure this shortcut was intended for late game purposes because you're not going to go through that long-ass path every time. But once you know about it, why wouldn't you use it? You save a lot of time just by doing that, but now we have a bit of a problem. These are the animated rock golems, and this makes the shortcut really hard. There are 4 in this area alone, and until you punch them, their AI is very random, and we need to do a specific thing here based on a clue that we get a good 66% through the game in order to get an equipment that will make this run entirely plausible. However, I'm showing off this rock fight because A, I'm stupid and got really lucky with these damage ranges, and B, to show you what happens if you think you're ballsy. Because look at me. I'm thinking I'm doing great. I'm doing 50 damage to a golem. I don't even need this torch. Fuck it. But you could hear them converging on me, and that's not what I want. What I'm supposed to be doing is gathering all 4 golems. Oh yeah, by the way, the river is neat because not only is it a shortcut, there are a good 20 fish in that river that you could just, you know, eat and gain EXP for the farmer. You could just kind of, you know, farm that area and get several levels. But I'm not going to do that mainly because I'm dumb and have a sense of quote-unquote morality, even though I'm cheating right now. But yeah, what you're supposed to be doing, which I'm doing right now, is leading the rock golems away from that broken bridge in that, like, open area near what looks like a temple. And given how tight this area is, it's really hard to do that. And for some reason, I'm really feeling really gutsy and trying this. So, there is a clue way late in the game that says, sit where the silent sentinel sleeps, the patient will be rewarded. Now, this item isn't gated. You could do this anytime if you know about the clue. And when you do, a new path opens. And this path is important. However, I fucked up. Rock golems at my level do a good 50 damage, which is around 80% of my health. So now we're gonna do it right this time and just fucking run. And this leads us to a path to the center area. Now once you unlock it, you never have to do it again. Also, this is me being curious because I never actually followed this guy before. He just kind of disappears. But this introduces you to a couple new items. First off, you get a light weapon, the Venom Fang Pick. I've never used this weapon. Based on its stats, it seems like it's supposed to be a battle mage weapon, but I never use it because, you know, I'm a filthy dexterity character. I try to use it initially, and that's going to prove to be a bad decision. But here's where what we're trying to do. To the point where I actively quit save because this is another fairly luck-dependent segment. This is the Sunken Vault. In this place there is several vaults of treasure along with 2 fishmen that will just, you know, ruin your day if you don't know what you're doing. But there are several pieces of treasure here that you can use to full effect in your playthrough, depending on how you build your character. Now for the single character Rattling playthrough I'm doing, I'm gonna skip a bunch of very important treasures here. For those of you that have played Grimrock 2, you're probably gonna see this and think, why aren't you getting X? Why aren't you getting Y? Well, that's because A, I'm probably not gonna put any points in armor until the last parts of the game. So the big secret armor here, pro tip, you can get crystal armor here. It's heavy armor, so even if you get it this early in the game, it's useless to you because it's gonna gimp your evasion to nothing. But any armor here is negligible to me because I'm not gonna have armor, so I'm gonna lose out on a lot of evasion. And when you're doing the single character playthrough, you want to not take any hits, period, rather than tank and spank. Also, this is an area that has, I want to say 5 fish, but I never looked. But there are a couple good items here. The glass vault is what we're looking for, but I'm going to show off the other ones. If you're kind of confident in yourself, you could also go for the steel vault later on. The golden vault is, I want to say, effectively worthless for us. We don't need it if we know what we're doing. Also, here's a cute little Lord of the Rings reference. It's the ring on the string. It says it does nothing, but it actually gives you, I believe, 1 minor stat along with 5 health and energy, so I use it for a good while through the playthrough. But the big prize here is the Spirit Mirror Pendant. This is vastly important for our playthrough, because what the Spirit Mirror Pendant does is that increases all EXP gained by the character by 25%. Now, this includes food, so I'm just gonna, you know, level up right now, I believe. Actually, no, I don't do it quite yet, because I'm gonna manage my inventory. Because with the Spirit Mirror Pendant, with all the food you're gonna be getting in this game, you're gonna be leveling up a lot. Also, you could just, you know, drop kick a fishman and kill him. I actually was kind of surprised there because that was alarming. But the thing about this game is, it's balanced for 4 players, so while you're doing less damage overall, you're going to have a lot more food to operate with, which means a single player farm or playthrough is extremely viable because you're going to be getting a lot of EXP. And if you get the Spirit Medallion Pendant early on, you're going to ramp up in EXP so fast to the point where you just might break the system. So this was the all-important sequence break I was doing. And in a sense, this is cheating. Unless you've played the game as much as I have, you would not know about this thing at all. So, yeah, just... if you like the challenge run, if you would enjoy the challenge run, this is a mandatory thing you're going to be doing. If you're doing a traditional playthrough, I would recommend against it, because in terms of traditional playthrough where you have 4 characters to balance equipment and EXP levels through, the Spirit Medallion Pendant actually is kind of a hindrance, because it kind of forces you to balance that pendant across 4 characters. I shouldn't say a hindrance, it's more of a negligible increase. You won't get much out of it doing that skip in a traditional playthrough than you would a single character playthrough. However, for a single character playthrough, it's almost mandatory. I say almost mandatory because I actually did a single character playthrough without it, but about 3/4 through the game I thought, wait a minute, can't I do this? So what you saw was me doing a kind of an experimental sequence break. But now that that's done, we're gonna, you know, get back to Twin Groot Forest. So for Twin Groot Forest, you kind of want to do this stuff right off the bat, mainly because you get a lot of stuff here that will help you in both the normal playthrough and this regular playthrough. Also, this is where I realized, wow, this weapon kind of sucks. Give me my backbiter back. But yeah. Not only is Twin Groot Forest good for getting supplies, it is effectively the first fourth of the game. If you do everything within this forest right off the bat, you will have 1/4 of the progress through the game. To wit, we're getting another Power Stone. Now, when you get this Power Stone, you're also introduced to some leather greaves. That is light armor, and since I don't have armor mastery, I'm not going to be needing them. The leather armor gives you a good amount of protection, but it gets rid of 5 evasion if you don't have light armor mastery. And since, as I mentioned before, you don't want to get hit in this challenge run, you don't really get light armor until way late in the game. There is an armor set that is probably going to be used a lot by me, but we won't see it for a good while. Also, with that lockpick we got, I just had a brain lag. I'm like, hey, I could get a new item here, and it's gonna be great. I've never seen this item before. It's gonna be awesome. So let's kill this bird, even though I missed the first hit. Let's see what our grand prize is here. It's gonna be great, right? It's just a bunch of pieces of wood on a string. So the tribal armor, I guess, is good. It's very much an early game armor. And if you're playing traditionally, you're going to have a light armor specialist, and you're going to be like, yeah, he's going to get it, and he's going to be great. But I've never seen that chest before. So when I just opened that chest and saw bits of wood on a piece of rope, I was like, oh, this is garbage, I'm out of here. Now over here is where we want to go next for Twin Groot Forest. This is a really good place in overall because there's a stake lying around here. That's not normal. So there's an enemy in this game that drops stake, it's a warg. And I'm really confused right now because that's not normal. You'll only see warg stake if you kill one of these wolves. There is absolutely no reason why there would be a warg stake just, sitting out in the open. And I'm still confused right now as to why there's a warg stake just sitting around. So if anybody watching this knows what the hell just happened there, let me know, because it's kind of confusing. But anyways, yeah, the warg is a very threatening fellow. I'm going to show off 2 fights with it, mainly because A, I got my footing wrong and I aggroed the entire fucking forest. But I'm going to show a single warg fight and I'm going to show a group warg fight. Now the single warg is not threatening on its own. It's also a very patient hunter for some odd reason. They're very fast and they're very aggressive. If a warg hits you, they attack a lot. Normally a warg will hit you twice, and they actually hurt for a lot. Ooh, frame rate. That was weird. But yeah, wargs often get 2 hits off on you. I'm sitting here trying to charge and attack in the open like a goofball. But yeah, you want to try to manipulate the warg's AI because I don't think it happens in this fight, but in the next fight, yeah, it doesn't happen. Also, that warg didn't drop a stake, which makes me really angry because now I don't have any XP. Now, we bait this warg, but I think we're gonna get another one. Oh, that was just the other warg that I punched when I was running around like a chicken with its head cut off. So I guess that was 1.5 fights in some sense. Now here's the interesting thing about Grimrock 2. Certain enemies come in groups. Now if you ever played Grimrock 1 and wondered, well, how the hell are we fighting fitting 4 people in one square, this is how. Actually, now that I think about it, Grimrock 1 had group enemies as well, and they had the phalanx of zombie spearmen, which is actually missing in this game. Wow, I can't talk. But the group of warg is actually kind of threatening, just because instead of 2 attacks, you have 4 attacks. And we're gonna see why this son of a bitch is actually kind of a pain in the ass. You're not gonna see it quickly because I actually panic and react to this, which is not really befitting of a, LP where things are explained, but, semantics. So what just happened there was 2 things. A, was me remembering that bombs can hit every enemy in a group and I could expedite this, and B, I got a wound. Wargs are highly prone to giving you wounds. And if you get something like a head wound, a chest wound, or an arm wound in this game, as in the single character playthrough, it is devastating. And it's especially more so in Twin Groot Forest because in this level there is no save crystal. So if you get a wound here and if you don't have any potions, you have to run all the way back to either the ocean or the middle of the area I just kind of sequence broke into. Also, this is a puzzle. For some reason, this puzzle makes me laugh, because I keep thinking it's asking me, are you okay? And then I just respond with Buster Wolf, because I'm an idiot. Also, I was going to put a reminder of this puzzle to me, but then I realized I'd have to Alt-tab in and out to write the note, so whatever. Notes are dumb. I should have just taken a Steam cap. But yeah, this area is scary just because there isn't a save crystal for a good long while into this game. Also, I'm kind of keeping the first parts of this fight in here because I get cornered. That hurt. Now, this secret area gives you several things. It gives you the Zafi set of gear, which is a good alternate light set of gear if you didn't find what I found. Or if you have 4 characters, because, you know, duh. We also found the bludgeon, or the baton, which is a good strength weapon, but I'm dexterity based. So for me, it's kind of worthless. But yeah, now we are going to the dungeon of Twin Group Forest, which is a long one. So strap in, folks, this is going to take a while. See you next time.